everyone. Today we're going to look at how to calculate the weightings for your course marks. I'm going to use my course as an example, but the idea is the same regardless of which subject you're doing. So let's have a look. Okay, so here you can see I've got the weightings for the course, which is the course that I offer. So we've got T4 is the FISA, which is the final individual summative assessment, and that's just basically your final exam. And the weighting for that is 40%. We've got T3, which is an online test that we've done, and that weighting is 10%. T2 is all the assignments that we've done, and that is the weighting, a total weighting of 30%. The T1 is the tutorials, and that is a weighting of 20%. So if you look at it as a pie, right, here's a pie. I like to think of it like that. This is how each of those pieces make up the final mark. Now this year, we don't have a FISA, right? So all your marks are actually going to be out of 60 because this piece there it's not there at the moment. So that one is always just going to be set to 0 for this semester. Okay, so let's speak about this T2, however, because that is made up of 3 different assignments with different weightings as well. So let's have a look. So if I draw it as a pie, it's the only way I can figure out weightings as well. So if I've got our one big pie, as I've said, from the Excel sheet, right? This piece is the 40%, right? And that was our T4. That piece was the 10%, and that was T3, right? Then you've got, I think it's about like, is it 20, so it's about like that, right? That is a 20%, and that is the online test, okay? And this is the piece that we're concerned with, the T2, which is the weighting of the 30%, right? And this is made up of all of the assignments, right? That's the assignments. Now the assignments, you remember we had assignment 1, assignment 2, and assignment 3, right? Here we go. Assignment 1, assignment 2, assignment 3. Assignment 1 has a weighting of 5%. Assignment 2 is 10%. And assignment 3 is 15%. Now these weightings over here is the weighting of the overall mark, right? So assignment 1 has 5% of the overall mark. So if I was to put a slice of 5% on top of the 30%, right? Because you have to put it in a slot somewhere. So you can think of the 30% almost as a slot that it has to fit into. But the 5% is a mark that is for the overall mark. And that is going to be, let's start with 15 first, because 15 is about half, right? So that and that, right? So this is going to be assignment 1, right? That is our 5%. 5%. This slice here, that slot that you're creating, is for assignment 2, which is 10%, okay? And then this piece here is going to be 15%, and that is assignment 3, okay? So that, I say again, is assignment 1, which is 5% of our overall mark, right? So this slice is 5% of the big pie. This assignment 2 is 10% of the big pie, 15% of the big pie, but you have to put them in slots, okay? So we slotted it into the 30% section, right? And these slots are what you see on your official mark sheet, right? So the one that the lecturers all send out to you, this is the title for T3. And within T3, a percentage has to be captured. So that percentage has to be out of 100%, right? Out of 100, not out of 30. You can't put it out of 30. So let's take a closer look at that slice. Let's just redraw it quickly. So it was roughly something like this, right? Like that. Like that. Okay, it's a bit skew, I think, but right. So let's have a look. I want to draw it nice and big, like this slice. So it's something like this, right? So it's an arc like that. And we said we've got, that would be about half. And then that would be, so it's about there. So that is 5%, which was a 1%. That is a 2, 10%, right? And this is a 3, which is 15%. Okay, so this slice out of the big pie, that is the 30% weighting, right? So that is T2. Okay, the 5%, I'm going to repeat it again, is the 5% of the overall mark, 10% of the overall mark, 15% of your overall mark. Okay, but when the mark is captured, it has to be a percentage, right? So when you're working out the value of T2, you're thinking of this as a whole unit, right? Not a piece of anything. So then you need to figure out, okay, so this 5% slice, what proportion of the 5% does it make up of the 30%, right? How much of the big piece here, 30%, does the 5% make up? Yeah, so that is essentially 5 of 30, right? Which is the same as saying it is 5 out of the 30, okay? Which is 1/6. So this slice here is a 1/6 of the 30%, right? This slice makes up 10 out of 30, so it makes up a third. That slice makes up 15 out of 30, which is half. Okay? That translates into 0.166, and it's a recurrent number, right? A third makes up 0.33, and that's also recurring, and that is 0.5. Yeah, so you see these fractions here, if you add up those fractions, it makes one whole. Yeah, so you can work out what the percentage of this is going to be. So this piece here, the 5%, A1, makes up 16% of the big slice. This A2 makes up 33.33% of the big slice. That A3 makes up half of the slice here. Okay, hopefully you understand what I've been saying over here. Right, so now how would we translate this into your Excel spreadsheet, into the mark that gets captured? Let's have a look at Excel. Right, so let me just add in a tab here. So let's look at we have, say, our assignment 1, assignment 2, and assignment 3, right? The weighting here is 5%, to remind us. The weighting there is 10%. The weighting here is 15%. Okay, let me just zoom a bit. so we can see what we're doing. And then just to format it a bit, there we go. Right, and then, so it's A1, A2, A3, right? And this has to make up the total of our 30% weighting. Or let's just say the 30% slice, okay? So, say you got, for your first assignment, you did really well, you got 90%. Okay, your second assignment, maybe not as well, you started sliding a little bit, and you got, say, 75, still a very good mark. And your third assignment, everything got a little bit hectic, because you had lots of things that you had to submit, so you didn't do well at all, and that is 52. Okay, so the number you want to make up in this column here is a percentage value, as I've said. So that is going to be out of 100, right? So that is going to be equal, right? And remember, this is just a shortcut key to say that you're going to be inputting a formula, right? And I choose, because I'm going to work with this first one, B4, right? And the way the weighting works is I'm going to say that that is a sixth. That is a sixth of the big slice. And the big slice being the 30% slice. Plus, this one is a third of the big slice. Plus, this one is, the A3 one is going to be a half of the big slice, right? And that is going to be a percentage. So this is out of 100, right? Because the whole is 100. Now, say for example, and this often happens, when the mark sheets are given out, so like I've given your mark sheets out to you, but I don't have assignment 3, right? The value that is inputted into that 30% column is going to look like this, right? So this doesn't mean that it's out of 50. No, this is the percentage that I put in. That's why it looks so low. But once I put in a value here, so I go back to 52, it means that the final mark then becomes 65.9. Okay, if I was to change this, say, I don't know, let's try different values completely. Let's take that out. So say the first one, I didn't do anything. Okay, second one, I was a lot better, right? So I managed to submit something and I got 65%. Okay, the third one, it's not been marked yet, so you don't know what that is. So the progress mark that is given is going to have this 21.6 in there. Once your assignment 3 is marked and you put it in here, so you did way better because you knew you were falling behind and you got 70% for that, it means that the final percentage is going to look like that. Okay, now the way this works, it works for all your subjects with all your weightings. All you have to do is go to your subject guide and have a look at what the weightings are for the different assessments that your lecturers have given to you. And then you can go through this exercise, right? This is fairly standard, so most of your subjects are going to look like this, but the values inside of these different slices is worked out in this way, right? So say for example, you have T1 is tutorials, but say you've had 10 tutorials, right? And each of them, I don't know, is a weighting of, or you've had tutorials that are 2%, another one is 5%, another one is 6%. Then remember that it means that the 5% is within the slice, right? If you have one tut, that is 5%. It's within the slice. And you then have to work out what proportion of the big 20% slice does the 5% slice make up. Hopefully this has given you a little bit more clarity with regards to weightings, because in the future you can then calculate and figure out how much you would need in your final exam in order to pass. And you can set up a spreadsheet for yourself for each of your subjects as your results are coming in. And then you can prepare yourself both mentally and by studying and preparing yourself for your final exam. Hopefully this was helpful for you. Bye.